Part of the reason why I want to talk about the core four happy hormones or neurotransmitters more accurately is because I've been on a huge mental health journey myself. And for me, and when I'm really scared of something or like gonna embark on a big thing, the only thing that helps me is to get as much information as I can to kind of like rationalize, and then I can let the emotion come in.
Yeah.
But
I'm
one thing
definitely
that
an over intellectualizer.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it, and I think a lot of us intellectualizers will lean on things like social media or lean on things like, isolating or disassociating because we've got so much going on in our brain and we don't know how to slow it down.
Mhm. Yeah, you're trying to hold it all together, and so you want that, like, little dopamine hit of, like, at least closing one loop, and at least if social media is there, it's a constant loop where you're like, "Okay, I'm getting micro hits of dopamine," but you're really not doing anything except hindering your progress even more.
But you're, like, trying to find, like, some semblance of safety, right? When we hop on social media, there's a couple reasons why we do it, but it's like, when you hop on social media and you're, like, comparing yourself to everybody else, you go on your explore page, and then you're like, "Well, fuck, that person's, like, lifting a million weights, and I'm sitting here crying about all my friends not being my friends anymore." And it's like, well, there is a perspective shift that's needed, but I think a lot of times, we pick up our phone and every single one of those is, like, silently blunting your brain's ability to feel motivated and focused, so we're kinda getting away from that. And so, today, we're gonna talk about some of the tips and tricks that we've been working on and learning about so that we can get our system feeling good, and so that when we're in the presence of other people, we can show up fully and regulated.
And be well situated, well adjusted adults.
Yeah, I think being an adult woman is hard to have and make friends, especially when you work from home. And especially when you're trying to put out all this information like, "Look how great my life is. Look how awesome your fitness could be." But we don't really talk a lot about, like, when things are hard and emotional and sad because we're the coaches. We're the ones who have to have it going on all going on and being strong, but we don't.
This is the episode where we're speaking to all the women who are maybe feeling a little flat these days, unmotivated, disconnected. You feel like you're doing all the right things when it comes to taking care of your mental well being, working out, meditating, all the things you're told to do, but you're still feeling off. You're not necessarily depressed. Maybe you are. You're rather just feeling muted. Today, we're getting into some of the reasons chemically behind these feelings and the actions you can take right now to feel better.
Welcome back to the Overthinking Podcast, the show for women navigating fitness and health in a world that makes everything way more complicated than it needs to be. We're your hosts. I'm Bri.
And I'm Kelsie. And if you're here, chances are you're tired of overthinking every fitness trend that demands us to shrink and has us feeling like we're failing at a system that never wanted to see us win.
And this podcast is your safe space for honest conversations and evidence based guidance so you can stop spiraling and finally live the healthy, full life you know you deserve.
One stat that I know Brie you can't get over is that 90% of your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, is made in your gut, which means a lot of what you're feeling is a lot more physical than you're led to believe. And if you've been on any sort of mental health journey, like most of us millennial women, the missing piece you might not be considering is the gut brain axis. Basically, how the foods you eat, the lifestyle habits that you partake in, how all of that impacts our thoughts, emotions, and motivations.
And we want to just set the scene. We're going to talk about the core four like happy hormones, neurotransmitters, but we're not going to get into the somatics of all of that. So before clients start working with us, typically their mornings look like this. They wake up, but pretty like tired, reaching for that first cup of coffee, skipping breakfast. Maybe you grab a bar of some sort, but you are rushing out the door, right? Getting ready, getting things to go. And then you try to get in a workout and it's probably some hit class, like really high intensity, and then you go to work and you work, 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 and then you get home and then you're like, oh, walk right through the door, tortilla chips, because I need something to tide me over before dinner. And then you go make dinner, and then everyone's all over the place about dinner. And then after dinner, you're like, okay, now I get to sit and watch TV. But you're watching TV, but then you're probably, like, on your phone also, and then you're stressing about the things you gotta do tomorrow and maybe the things you didn't get done today. And then kinda start scrolling more and more and more because 'cause you're like, "Oh, no, I still don't feel safe to go to bed yet." And there's,
Or
like,
you
a
feel
lot of
guilty for comparing yourself to people online.
Yes, yes, and so this kinda evening time of, like, I need to find, like, this signal of safety in order for me to go to bed. We're gonna talk a lot about that today, but this kind of, like, low grade meh, it's not, like, depressed per se, but it's like, I just feel slow to start. We're gonna talk yeah.
It's this like cycle of feeling down, disconnected from your body, your goals, and what you say that you want compared to like the actions that you participate in, and also people that we love. I think since pandemic, we've kind of all drifted into this like self-isolation. I don't know about any of you, but I have for sure. I've always been more of like a hermit type of gal, but definitely since the pandemic, I'm like in this like, oh, I'm fine by myself. I want to go to bed early and wake up early and, be in this little like bubble. But what I often lack is that social connection. And I think that really gets undervalued as one of our just like basic human necessities.
Yeah, like the true human connection. The not like I got my phone out and I'm like kinda texting someone else and I'm kinda listening to what you're saying, or I'm kind of in a meeting, but kinda texting you to see how your day is going. I get stuck in that a lot because I have a lot of people that I care about in my life. I've got my list of clients, I've got my patients at True Health, I've got my friends, I've got my, acquaintances, people that I just keep in my mind. And it is hard to kind of keep everyone afloat, but I think where I lack is where I keep myself afloat. Right? If I'm regulated and I'm feeling good about myself and of my routines, then I can better show up for everybody else.
Yeah, I think we can get trapped in this cycle of feeling like something is wrong with us. But what we're kind of calling attention to today is just the chemistry behind some of the things, actions that we do on a day to day that you may not even realize are draining you. And these are the quick fixes that Brie and I both need. And this is the self pep talk and also the pep talk for our listeners.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that reframe, what we can do, and how it's not just like an affirmation, put a little sticky on your window and feel better.
And here's the thing, again, I need to highlight that if you're feeling this way, like, nothing is wrong with you. Like, most women unknowingly deplete these 4 neurotransmitters just, like, daily with, like, things that we all participate in. Like, it's, again, not your fault. And also, we're not gonna tell you, "Don't do any of these things." It's like, we're gonna teach you how to work with them and maybe pair a complementary action with them so that if you still wanna have your, like, daily doom scroll, fine, but you know how to do it and kind of approach it in a way that's not gonna shoot you in the foot for the rest of the week. So
Just like we always say, like the small actions are the big needle movers. Like when we say get 6 to 8,000 steps, someone might hear that and be like, oh, that's too easy. I obviously need to go on this extreme diet in order to see weight loss. No, we want to focus on the small actions. So if the takeaway from today is all I need to do is a 10-minute no screen first thing in the morning and I need to like write down in my journal or it's a meditation, if that's what you take away from this episode, then that's what we want. We want you to focus on the small but big impact needle movers.
those people who are like, "I cannot meditate. I would never meditate. Like, meditation is such a waste of time." Like, if you are one of those people, please stay for the rest of this episode because we're not just gonna sit here and tell you, "Go meditate," because we hear you. Like, I've been that way myself before. I'm like, "There's no time to meditate. I'm running all over the place." But most women, like we said, are chronically depleting these things. And so the 4 happy hormones or neurotransmitters that we're going to talk about today are serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and adrenaline. And if you've heard or not heard of these, that's totally fine. We're going to teach you that, first of all, when you feel down, there is a mindset reframe that we can achieve. And like Kelsey says, not just like affirmation notes everywhere, which I actually know someone specifically who does this and that really works for them because it's like adding positive brain food to like maybe a more toxic mindset that you may be stuck in. I know I have been stuck in that specifically around like friends and social. circles. So actually having like a little post-it note,
And
I
nothing
think
feels worse than when you're like, say you're in a bad mood and someone's like, well, just be grateful what you do have. It's like, no, you're invalidating my feeling. And now I'm annoyed at you for even like bringing this toxic positivity to the table. So this is not about that. You have to
right.
self select into your own mindset. If you are comfortable right now in that anger or despair, good. You should feel those feelings, feel those through, see those through. But if you are in a place where you're open and you want to feel better, maybe some of these small tips and tricks you can take away with you.
Yes. Okay. So the four, we're going to start with the one that most people know. Okay. Serotonin. We've known that this one was kind of like our happy hormone, right? But this specific neurotransmitter, and again, calling them happy hormones today, neurotransmitter that regulates mood stability, your sleep, and your appetite. So basically, like the big three things that we know will either make us happy or unhappy, this neurotransmitter is responsible for. And
If you've
back
ever
to that,
taken MDMA, it's like borrowing tomorrow's serotonin. That's what MDMA does.
MDMA is Molly. Yes. Yes. So let's bring back the gut health stat because, again, 90% of serotonin is produced in your gut, which I find staggering. So the gut is kind of like your mood health. So low serotonin levels look like could be depression or depressive symptoms, anxiety, fear, poor sleep, feeling irritable for like no clear reason, like every period cycle, right? Like the PMS symptoms. That is
Before your period, hello.
Yes, that is a big depletion in serotonin.
And I think it's also important to talk about what depletes it. So things like chronic stress and elevated cortisol, and we don't mean to say this like cortisol is bad, you need to avoid it. We mean being under chronic stress and not doing anything about it, not meditating, not seeing a therapist, not talking about your feelings or letting yourself feel the feelings or even identifying those feelings. Things
Yeah, like the dissociation.
yeah, I feel threatened by that, but yes,
Okay.
uh, and things like alcohol or smoking cigarettes can exacerbate this depletion. Not having sunlight, like you said, poor gut health. So, having a diet that doesn't have a lot of fiber or a lot of food that you cook at home. So, if you're eating at fast food restaurants all the time, all of these things can deplete our serotonin, which makes us feel down. And you might want to blame yourself or your own brain for some of the habits and not realize that it's actually these habits that might be holding you back.
Yes. So let's talk about what boosts it. There are very specific and actionable things that you can do today for free to make this happy hormone boosted all the way up. And you will probably feel it right away. So 10 minutes of morning sunlight or sunlight kind of between like when the sun is the highest in the sky, 11 to 2. Steady state cardio also helps with this. So, like a 20-minute zone 2 incline walk, bike, treadmill,
If you've
trip
ever
to
just gone out for a little jog and felt that runner's high of like, damn, I feel good. My thoughts are churning. I feel better. You never feel worse after a workout, right? You generally always feel better.
why that quote matters is literally this serotonin and also adrenaline, which we'll get into. And I remember you were doing your like a mile every day kind of challenge for a while. And like that, if you could think back, you probably were feeling like pretty excited and accomplished like on day 2 or 3 of that, right?
Yeah.
We talked about fiber and fermented foods. So things like sauerkraut, kimchi, those are great for your gut. Foods that my favorite high fiber foods are sweet potatoes, chia seeds, berries, especially frozen berries, because you can just keep them forever, and oats. So, like, I always try to get those in my diet, at least 1 or 2 of those a day.
I
And
love the Dave's Killer Bread because, like, one slice of bread has like, it's like 6 grams of protein in one slice of bread and like 4 or 5 grams of fiber. So you're already meeting like a quarter of your fiber goal in just one slice of bread.
which is amazing, and so if you're more gluten-free, stick to mine. If you can have bread, like, go off with some Dave's Killer Bread, or I like Catalina Crunch too, and sometimes I'll do, like, a little, like, protein shake cereal and, get protein and fiber. So we talked about these things being free. Sunlight is free. Go outside in the morning time. Sometimes people just skip this entirely. They go from bed to bathroom to office to home, and just being outside for a little bit can really help. And same with doing something you love. Like, even if it's doing Tetris or like a game on your phone, doing something that you love can be free too.
One thing I think we kind of glossed over was the cofactor of serotonin is actually tryptophan, which is an amino acid commonly found in animal based foods. So things like eggs, turkey, nuts, seeds, those are going to give you a little bit of that tryptophan amino acid and converts ultimately to serotonin.
So let's talk about the second neurotransmitter or happy hormone that you probably are aware of, dopamine. And this is your neurotransmitter for motivation, reward, focus, maternal and reproductive behaviors. It's kind of like the let's go, let's get up and go hormone.
Yeah, and this is derived from phenylalanine, which is also an amino acid. So, as you can assume, it is found in mostly animal based products. So, meats, eggs, fish, soy products. So, you'll get not only tryptophan, but you will also get phenylalanine, which is the cofactor for dopamine. And this is why we say like diet plays such a big part in how you feel. It's not just like you can't really get by with just eating fast food or frozen pre-made foods. Like those things are fine in a pinch and have a place in a well-balanced diet, but we really want you focusing on cooking most of your meals at home.
And listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here because we all know I was on the Rice Krispie treat and chicken breast diet last year. I have
At least
since
you're getting your phenylalanine and tryptophan.
totally, but I was eating like a ton of hyper processed foods last year just to like get calories in because I was so stressed. But like truly, my mental health took a major hit. Like, and I saw it like in a compounding effect. So, this hormone, dopamine, is released when you make progress or complete something. So, it's not just about like the big win, it's about the momentum along the way. And low dopamine looks like apathy when you're like, I just don't want to do anything. I don't want to be around anyone. I just want to slog. No drive, a lot of difficulty starting things, like just even thinking about your to-do list, and you're probably reaching for your phone constantly.
Yep. Yeah, and things that deplete it, like reaching for your phone constantly, the constant doom scroll, that also contributes to poor sleep, chronic stress, feelings of not winning, sugar and ultra processed foods, again with the nutrition thing, and not having any clear set goals. And I think it's really common, especially when we're thinking about our fitness, is to like, oh, I'm just going to work out. Okay, that's fine. But what are the goals that you're after, right? Like we can have these weight loss goals, also fine. What Brie and I would rather have you do is focus on like meaningful milestones, like, oh, I want to be able to do 5 push ups from the floor. Get specific about what it is you want. If it's, I want to run a 5K or want to participate in the San Diego half marathon, those are great goals to have because you have one, the goal, and then identifying the plan to get there. So, having clear set goals helps you positively on this dopamine cycle.
Yes, and if you're someone who's like, "I just, like, wanna get stronger," that's a huge difference from, "I want my back squat to go up. I
Yeah.
wanna be able to do a couple pull-ups." And just that change in language and change in, like, goal orientation is truly gonna save you from doom scrolling at night. Like, I know it sounds abstract, but that's just how it works.
Well, just saying like I want to just be stronger isn't does it's not really thought out, right? And that's
No.
okay. It's okay to start in that place, but as you go through, we want you to be looking for things that you want to improve on. If you're a brand new beginner to the gym and you're just learning how to barbell back squat, okay, I'm having fun with this. Maybe it would be cool if I could one day squat my body weight. Yeah, it is cool. That's a goal. Write it down, give yourself a timeline, follow those SMART goal frameworks, right? Where you're specific, measurable, action oriented, uh, realistic, and within a time frame.
Totally. And I wanna highlight something that you said before about, like, the doom scrolling, and especially before we get into, like, what boosts dopamine, because, again, these are, like, free and flirty things that we can do. But what depletes it is this doom scrolling thing, and we just there was the stat that I think we missed in the beginning, but the average person picks up their phone 96 times a day, equating 7 hours every day. Like, I'm so guilty of it too. We're both guilty of it. But this is literally your round trip ticket to the vicious cycle of always needing more. And it's not just about social media. And as someone, me, who has struggled with addiction, struggle with over consuming a lot of things, this is a huge point that like completely opened my eyes. So when I pick up my phone and I open up Instagram or TikTok, if I don't look for something specific, so, like, when you pick up your phone tonight after work or whatever, think about who you want to see. Like, I'm loving Kelly Matthews right now, like, I'm obsessed with her content. So, when I open Instagram, I consciously go and open her page instead of going to my explore page, which has thousands of hot girls that look way, quote, unquote, "better than me." I'm being intentional about who I'm looking at and who I'm searching because I don't want to just be in this fast line of dopamine dumping where I'm constantly comparing myself to, like, literally anyone who puts their body on Instagram when I'm on my couch feeling shitty about myself. So,
And
let's
I
talk
know
about
it's
what
probably a long shot, right? Where you're like, be intentional every time you open your phone. Like
not every time.
it's kind of automatic in our brains to just like open your phone and then you open Instagram. Like I'm definitely guilty of that. And I'm like, why am I even on here? There's nothing on here for me. And what I find myself doing is like opening the app and immediately closing it because I'm like, what am I doing? There's nothing here that I want. So if you are wanting to doom scroll, maybe just go in with like a goal or like set yourself a time, right? Like I'm going to uninhibited just doom scroll for 30 minutes and set that timer. And as soon as that timer is done, you're off. Find something else
Yeah.
to do. Read a book.
I really do think, like you said, it is the majority game. It's not every time. Every time of 96 times you pick up your phone, no, you're not gonna be like, "What do I wanna look at today?" But just a few, like, just do a few, especially in the evening time, like, when, "Oh, I've done my skincare routine, I can finally sit down and doom scroll," like, just think about what you want to get out of it, and this also really helps. I've been favoriting specific people that I want to see more of their stuff and unfollowing people who just, like, are maybe speaking in a negative way or just not in a way that's contributing our dopamine.
Yeah. So things that we can do to boost dopamine might be writing things down on a list that you actually want to complete. And I've done something like this in the past when I was trying to get myself like more organized with starting my own business where every morning I would journal and I would write down the 5 main things that I needed to do that day and the feeling that I would have when I did accomplish it. So if it was one of the things was doing a 45-minute workout at the gym, I would feel accomplished and like I'm closer to my fitness goals by completing that. And then the next one might be folding my laundry. Oh, I feel productive. My laundry's clean. Great. So you're associating the feeling with completing the task. So even if you just do like something so small like that, that can immediately boost your dopamine when you do complete that task.
'Cause you're like, "Oh, I know how I'm gonna feel after." And one thing on that, breaking things down. So, a lot of people who listen to this are probably hard-charging, fierce women like myself and Kelsey. When I write a big task down, just finish this book or do all my client programs, it's, like, so daunting that I'm like, "It's gonna take me 6 hours to actually finally cross that thing off." And it's not exciting, it actually is more scary. So, I've been using this, like, five-minute action framework a lot with my ADHD brain. So, if it takes 5 minutes, do it right away. If it takes more than that, put it on a list.
One of my best friends from Kansas City, her ADHD quote, because she is very ADHD, is don't put it down, put it away.
Oh my god.
So I
Thank
don't
you,
know how
best
that
friend,
lands.
Kelsey's best friend, I needed that.
For another fellow ADHDer.
I landed, like, literally right between my eyebrows. I was like, "Yes, I need that."
Don't put it down, put it away.
I literally put my phone in the microwave the other day. I was like, I didn't think about it. I like, "Don't put it down. Don't put it in the microwave. Why did I do that?"
Always microwave our breakfast every morning, which is eggs, and I, like, took the eggs out, stirred them, didn't close the microwave door, and just, like, walked away to do something else, and I was like, "Hmm, it's a spectrum."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely on that.
Yep, we're
So,
there somewhere.
this is, like, one of my favorite, hormones to talk about because I feel super depleted in this one. Like, I feel oxytocin is our bonding and trust hormone, so this signals connection, warmth, safety, feelings like, truly feeling seen and understood.
You and I have both been a little depleted of this lately.
Yeah, before we hopped on, Kelsey and I were talking about how adult friendships, especially as women, are just really hard, and we're all doing big things with our lives and we are choosing which relationships we're going to keep forever. But this is honestly something I've struggled with since the pandemic and since the relationship that I was in during the pandemic. Oxytocin directly buffers cortisol. So if you're someone who's chronically stressed and everything we've said about like lowering your stress, you're like, yeah, fuck you. This is the hormone that we actually need. And as somebody who is so resistant to other people helping me when I'm feeling upset, oxytocin, the more oxytocin you have, then the lower your stress response will be. It doesn't mean that your stress is going to be lower. It's just going to be a lower agitation that you
A little
feel.
more blunted.
Yeah, yeah. Like, it doesn't feel like so smack in the face of stress. It's like, okay, I notice it's there, but like, I think I got it.
It's almost like having someone there is kinda like your arm floaties, right? If you feel like you're drowning in all the stress and someone just says, "Hey, I'm here with you." Okay, I can stay afloat a little bit longer. That's what oxytocin is.
Like, you can still be so afraid of the deep end, but if someone else is there with you and they're like, no, no, I think you can do it, you're like, fuck yeah, I got it.
Or worst case, we go down together.
And you know what? That's great. So, when I was going through a lot of panic attacks last year and they like, I literally could not escape them, the one thing and truly the one thing that worked was someone just, like, hugging me or, like, grabbing my hand or grabbing my arm, and so what I thought I needed was to, like, regulate solo and, like, go away and, like, no one I'm just so annoying and so loud that everyone's probably annoyed, but, like, really what I need was for someone to be like, "It's okay that you're feeling depleted and upset and angry, and I'm just gonna be here with you."
It's okay that you don't feel perfect.
Yeah. So
We
low
don't expect
oxytocin.
you to be.
Yeah, we don't expect you to be perfect. And low oxytocin looks like just feeling lonely, even if you're in a big group of people, emotional disconnection, low trust in people, social exhaustion, and honestly avoidance. If you're like, "Ugh, I just, like, wanna be alone, like, I don't wanna do anything social, like, I wanna crawl in a hole," like, that's actually what you need is probably someone to give you a hug and be like, "Hey, I'll be here with you."
I think it's easy to get trapped in this, like, isolation mindset where I'm comfortable by myself and I'm, handling it all by myself and I got this. But that's kind of what depletes that oxytocin, so we get stuck again in this vicious cycle. Each of these neurotransmitters, hormones, kind of has their own vicious cycle of endless doom until you decide that you're ready to hop off that roller coaster. So if you wanna get off that and you're ready to be open, something you can do is maybe hugging your dog or someone close to you for 10, 20 seconds. As a someone who does not like physical touch, that kind of makes my skin crawl, but I do like the idea of hugging my dog for 20 seconds.
Okay. I love the idea of hugging a human for 20 seconds, okay? Like, and that's the craziest part, like, when I am in my, like, most panic zone, like, the most prickly I could possibly be, I know that I am not easy to hug, okay? But even just, like, grabbing my hands or my arms for 20 seconds, like, completely changes the course and the intensity especially of the panic attack. Like, when someone's trying to be like, "What's wrong? Are you okay? Are you okay?" Then it just, like, escalates and escalates and escalates, but it's the physical touch piece. And so the other ways you can boost this in, like, a day-to-day to kind of maintenance your oxytocin are playing with your dog, acts of kindness, like buying someone a gift just because, buying someone flowers just because, celebrating people's birthdays. Like, I love celebrating people's birthdays or, like, sending a postcard.
And also another tip, like you said, doing an act of kindness is maybe volunteering. Volunteering at a dog shelter, volunteering for a group that you care about. If it's like for me, I really loved in college working with like the elementary school girls, getting them active, showing
Yep.
them the gym. So something like that could be a great way to not only show up for your community, but also improve your own mental well-being.
I think we are kind of at an advantage as coaches. Like, I've said this a million times. Like, if I wasn't coaching, I'd probably be dead. Like, there are so many times where, like, a client's having a tough day or you're having or a friend's having a tough day, and I have the opportunity to, like, step up and show up for them. Like, those are boosts of oxytocin as well. Of course, too much of this turns into burnout, but I do feel like the human con like, the real connection, like, I see you, like, "Kelsie, I know you love this one thing, so I got it for you." That is what brings it back into balance.
And helping someone else Leading someone else leads you out of your own bullshit. If you're stuck in your own bullshit, your own narrative in your head that's bringing yourself down, just helping someone else can be maybe the advice that you also need. This whole episode, basically.
Yeah, for sure, and this is so timely, we both need this. Let's talk about the one that probably feels the most fitness forward, endorphins.
These are broadly your endorphins, so things like adrenaline. These are the chemicals in your brain that aren't really hormones per se, they're actually neuropeptides, but they are the natural painkillers or that runner's high feeling you get from exertion or laughter. And low endorphins can look like maybe a low pain tolerance, low mood, emotional numbness, feeling like nothing is fun anymore. I've definitely had quite a few seasons of this lately, so can relate.
Yeah, and so what depletes this is a sedentary lifestyle, suppressing emotions, or even, like, overtraining without recovery. But specifically, I wanna highlight, like, you and I have been adding in a lot more, like, dynamic training and a lot more, like, intensity, but in very specific, minute ways into our training, and that really helps with this endorphins. If you are someone who's a runner, great. I love the runner's high for you. I'm not a runner. That's not gonna work for me. But what boosts it is intense exercise, and we are not telling you to now go sign up for F45 or Orange Theory.
Maybe go hip thrust 400 pounds.
Go hip go hip thrust 400 pounds and then do 30 jumping jacks after. So, like we said, not necessarily like F45 and Orange Theory and HIIT classes, but, like, community is a big piece of this. Genuine laughter, not like polite laughing, like, "Ha ha ha," like actually belly laughing about something. Actually, spicy food, when you eat something spicy and it, like, shocks your system, that can help release endorphins.
I do love spice.
I love spice, and I actually noticed that I have been craving spicier food when I'm feeling more depleted, or,
Do
like,
you
when I
remember when we went toe to toe with wasabi? We were like, who can eat the bigger chunk of wasabi? And we were both fine.
we were both fine, our nose hairs may have been singed, but, like, we felt great the day after, and, like,
Brie and
that's
I are
part of
gangster when it comes to wasabi.
we are gangster wasabi consumers. Another food is actually dark chocolate, stretching, and then massage.
This makes me curious about a time that we've both just like when was the last time you just full on belly laughed about something?
Before or after Wellbutrin. No, I'm just kidding.
Keeping that.
It's only been 3 days. The last time I had a big belly laugh was actually this weekend. This weekend, I had a big belly laugh. We went to the Big Lesbian Barbecue in Brooklyn. A former client of mine just invited me, and it was, like, all of the big wood lesbians across the wherever. And there was this time where I just could not stop uncontrollably laughing because this girl and I her name was Morgan Lamb, which is my middle name and last name. My name is Brianna Morgan Lamb, and I met a girl who looks just like me, and her name was Morgan Lamb, and we were both laughing so hard. We're like, "Where do we go from here? Like, do we hang out again? I don't feel like I need to see you again."
Do we take a
But
23 and me?
I'm like, "Do you have a 23andMe? Like, do we take a selfie?" Like, we felt so awkward because we're like, "This is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to us," and we just, like, basically threw up laughing. Okay, and then another one is crying. Like, crying really does release endorphins, especially when it's, like, a big, the ones you have in your car. When's the last time you had a big cry?
In the last month have had a lot of I'm not a big crier, but definitely in the last like 2 months, she was teetering the line often.
Remember that Dane Cook skit about crying? Or, like, you have to always look in the mirror at some point and just be like, "Wow," and then it makes you cry that much harder.
No, I don't remember that.
And then there's one where it's like when you're driving in the car and you're crying and you just assume everyone can see that you're, like, having the worst day ever, and you're just, like, kind of like, "Oh," like,
That makes me think of, like, singing in the car when you're, like, embarrassed by someone seeing you sing, you're like, "Why? I'm never gonna see them again."
when every single person at the stoplight is actually picking their nose. It's either singing or picking their nose. I'm like, "You shouldn't be embarrassed about either one." Like, they're both taking care of your body. I don't know. So let's get into the wellness noise because we've heard so much stuff about what we can do to make ourselves happier and feel better, and we've been sold really expensive things and really expensive protocols and detoxes. But the reality is that we just gave you a laundry list of super basic, pretty much free things that you can do to support every corner of your happy hormones.
We're
So
selling
what?
you a cold plunging membership for $599 every month. Just kidding. We're here
Yes.
to talk about what actually works and not missing the forest for the trees.
And that's exactly what we wanna say is that if we listed off some things that you were like, "Huh, I could probably, like, do more of that." Literally from this entire episode, just start there. Just do those things. Like, all the infrared, the cold plunge, yes, they in general can help, but most people are using those things as, like, their get out of jail free card when all this other stuff your system needs more frequent hits of. Like, I'm not gonna do a cold plunge more than once a day, probably more than once a week. But am I gonna wait for that one hit every week for my adrenaline?
Your boyfriend's favorite podcast, bro, will have you believe that cold plunging, infrared light, or infrared saunas and red light therapy is going to fix your depression, which, you might feel a small hit of adrenaline after doing a 3-minute cold plunge or sitting in the sauna for a little bit, but it's actually not really substantiated. And what matters more, and we say this on almost every single episode, whether the goal is mental well being or the goal is your fitness outcomes, what you can do consistently matters more than what you do infrequently. So if you want a cold plunge for 3 minutes once a month, that's great, but that's not going to be enough because you need small daily or multiple time a week actions to have that consistency. And I don't know about you, but I'm not paying $40 each cold plunge session just to feel a small baby hit of adrenaline. I'm not
And
doing
here's
it.
the thing that cold and pain trigger the same receptors. So you're like, "Oh, ice your elbow when you're cold." It's like, yeah, that will work, but it's not gonna work necessarily like long term. We're saying the same thing. Like cold plunge, I have had personal experience with cold plunge, and I felt like I was on mushrooms the whole rest of the day because I was so freaking happy. Like, yes, it does work. And ice bath sales on Amazon jumped from under 1,000 units in November 2022 to over 90,000 units in just 12 months. So, like, those podcast bros are, like, really making their bag, and we're not saying not to do cold plunge. If you're able to do it, add that in, but if you are not taking care of the other things, then this one cold plunge every week is gonna be, like, I don't know, it's just not gonna outperform the basics.
It's just a band aid for something that you're not willing to face head on and do the work for.
Something I have been saying is, like, fitness is not fragile. Like, if you have a sustainable routine that helps your fitness and health, including mental health, it's something that should be, like, easily baked in, and, like, a cold plunge is, like, kinda hard to do. Like, I don't know, like, yeah, you can do the cold seconds after the shower, but, like, you gotta build a lot of momentum to go in there, and then you gotta split through it, and then you gotta, like, naturally like, all that stuff is great, and I will do it once a week, no problem, but if I don't have the other things in play, then it's only gonna last a day. It's not gonna last.
I think there's also an unaccounted variable for any one of these things that you do, right? Whether it's fitness or cold plunge or microdosing mushrooms. It's the setting the intention behind it. Like if you just take a microdose of mushrooms, which is zero point 0.1 gram, you're not going to feel anything. But they always say if you're going to microdose mushrooms, you need to set an intention for where you want your mindset to be. And I did have a good experience with microdosing mushrooms. I did like a 2 on, 1 off situation. And the days that I went to work super early, which I'm generally feeling very like flat and tired that early in the morning because who isn't? But I was noticeably happier, more engaged, and more excited about life on the days that I was microdosing. But that was also because I set a point to journal and set an intention of what I wanted my day to look like. So one might say that it wasn't the mushrooms all along. It might be the mindset that I am encouraging myself to get in before that day even starts.
And then you are bathing in a dopamine bath. The entire day was a success. The entire goal of that day was for you to feel better in your mindset. And then when you close that day, you're like, wow, I fucking did it. And truly that is the same thing with cold plunge and infrared sauna is by setting an intention of doing something kind of hard and then you do it, that is releasing dopamine, which makes you feel a lot better. Whether it's releasing norepinephrine and actually increasing neuroplasticity, like infrared sauna says it is, it's just the act it's the participation in bettering yourself, and that is what we're trying to say. You can do cold plunge and infrared, you can do a cuddle with your dog, I don't care, but it's the active participation and doing something new that creates this positive mindset and is what makes your relationship to health and fitness not feel so fragile. If I miss my cold plunge that week, I feel like, "Oh my god, I'm not being healthy anymore." No, there's so many other things that we can be doing that are just as healthy. So while there is early science supporting infrared sauna and cold plunge, and we will definitely be adding those into our routine when we can, we're going to give you a feeling to action list. So when you feel a feeling, this is your immediate go to action. Take your notebooks out. We're going to go through them very quick. Write down the ones that jump out to you.
If you're feeling unmotivated, write down 3 small tasks and do them within the next 12 hours. Don't negotiate, just start it.
Number two, if you're feeling anxious and irritable, get outside for 10 minutes of sunlight before you do anything else.
And 3, if you're feeling disconnected from people, put your phone down and make actual eye contact with someone today, even if that means going to the coffee shop closest and talking to the barista.
Give someone a hug, a big one, 20 seconds long. All right. Number four, if you're feeling emotionally flat, move your body hard. Like, sure, go take a hit class, lift something really, really heavy, go for a sprint, or even just do like 30 jumping jacks really quick. Something that makes you feel like you've worked.
And the next one is if you're feeling foggy and unfocused, look at what you ate yesterday. Protein and fat first. And if you had a big splurge on fast food, that's okay. Today is a new day.
And eat some fiber. If you had a big splurge, no big deal. We don't feel bad about that. Just go get some fiber and protein and a little bit of water. If you're someone who's feeling very lonely around people, hand up. Plan just one real in-person thing this week that feels easy, low pressure, not a group chat, like a real simple, easy hang with someone you trust.
And maybe you're feeling a little bit apathetic and nothing is fun. So find something that you genuinely find funny, even if you have to go by yourself. That could be going to a movie by yourself or call the friend who makes you laugh the hardest. We like those big belly laughs.
And if you're feeling low and heavy, just everything feels heavy, let yourself cry. Whether it's in the car, it's in the shower, it's next to your dog, but then go move your body after. Like once you've had that last gasp, then go move your body.
Yeah. And if you can't sleep or you're waking up super tired in the morning, maybe look at your morning sunlight and cut out alcohol. Those two first before anything else. And maybe you might need to reduce your afternoon caffeine intake.
Yeah. Feeling burnt out with no drive, especially if you're a hard charging person, check your gut. And we could probably do an entire separate episode about this, but just start with fiber, fermented foods, and then look at your quantity of alcohol that you're consuming. Serotonin lives in your gut and explore the feelings that you might be running from.
So let's close out this episode with one thing that we are personally taking away from this episode or that we're already doing and we want to double down on. I'll go first to give you time to think about yours because I did
Okay.
pre-think about mine, which is reducing my screen time first thing in the morning. So what I've been trying to do is instead of opening my phone to Instagram, I open my phone to Open meditation app and I do a brief 10-minute meditation. If you've never tried Open, it is the absolute goat of meditation apps. It's
For sure.
definitely more expensive per month, but the quality of meditations, they also have breath work, yoga, they have so many options. This is not sponsored. This is just a genuine joy that I've had in the last couple of years. So check out Open. That's something I'm committing to.
I actually love that you said that because I have the widget on my phone and it has this little quote. Every day it has a new quote. And this one, today's is the meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
I
And
did
that's
that
just so
meditation today.
yes. And that's such a good one for this episode. I would say that the one that I'm going to bring into this week is being really present and also present with myself. So I'm going to try to boost my oxytocin by like being a little bit gentler with myself. And then when I'm around people, like looking them really in the eyes and like even offering hugs to people that's like not a usual thing. It's like, I just want to give you a hug.
We always talk about being specific. So, who's the next person that you're going to see, and what is the intention with that person that you're setting?
It's actually going to be my dog. And I have noticed that, like, Zoe and I, like, haven't been as close, like, when I first moved to Chicago, and, like, we've been getting a little bit closer, and, like, sometimes we just, like, hang out, and I feel
That's
like
so
you can
cute.
really listen to me and, like, hear me, so I actually think I wanna just be a little more, like, present and intentional with her when we take walks instead of, like, being on my phone and stuff.
I love that. So, maybe a 20-minute dog and Bri, no screen time walk.
Yeah, play
I
some
love
games
that.
with her, give her some treats, make her do some tricks.
I love that. Well, if you took away nothing else from this episode, please hear this. A 30-minute podcast episode is not going to fix your mood completely. If you're really struggling, please seek professional help. Bree and I both are huge proponents of going to therapy to show up as our best human selves.
I would call therapy like a bubble bath for your brain. Like when I go in there and I just feel dirty and toxic and icky, I literally come out of there with a clear recipe of like, okay, this is what I got to do next. And my brain kind of feels scrubbed free. So if you're someone who's been chronically feeling down, remember that this is not a character flaw. Like you are not broken. You do have some control over it. The boring stuff, the more boring it is, and the more consistent you can be, the more it's going to work. So sunlight, movement, real food, like think about what like the hippy dippies at Woodstock would do. Like truly actual human connection. That's the foundation. Everything else is just bonus.
Yeah. And like you said, hugging your dog or your partner for 20 seconds is non negotiable. So if this episode made something click for you, send it to someone who needs to hear this. You know who she is. The one who's been saying she's fine, but you know she's running on empty. Send it to her.
And as always, connect with us too on Instagram at overt_thinking podcast, at Brianna Lamb, and at Kelsey Michelle. And you can watch us for real in real time on YouTube. And until then, we'll see you
In
in
the
the
next
next
episode.
episode.